Look, well, I mean, I've got to be honest with you. I was taking a lot of flack, actually, by some other members of the medical community a couple of months ago when I suggested that potentially, doctors might be being a bit lazy and they have to be actively encouraged to go back and see patients face-to-face. And it turns out I was right about that.
Patrick, you're right to be angry, and I'm pretty angry too. I think the doctors have misread the public mood. Bear in mind, when people go on strike, the government will assess what public sympathy is. And public sympathy for GPs is at an all-time low. I don't think the doctors will vote to strike. I think some of these rules will be ignored by the GPs because they're actually not that sensible. And I'm hoping things will calm down. What frustrates me about this whole discussion is that it's a few GPs used the pandemic to avoid seeing patients, either because they were frightened of catching COVID or because they saw it as a way of doing less work. A few GPs, the majority of GPs that I've met and I've spoken to have actually been working very hard. But I've seen first-hand examples where GPs have not really seen people face-to-face when those patients should have been seen face-to-face. There's no doubt about that. We saw someone the other day who had 5 telephone consultations before we saw him and referred him off to a specialist. Now, there should be a system that after the first 2 or 3 phone consultations, you should automatically be seen face-to-face for the same problem. That clearly is a nonsense. And I've seen that several times throughout the pandemic. What's wrong about this situation is it's developed into face-to-face consultations are good and phone consultations are bad, which is a binary and false division between those two types of consultations. Some of our patients that we ask to come in, they say, no, actually, I only want a phone consultation, and they only need a phone consultation. And that should be applying throughout general practice in any case. So the idea that anyone who wants a phone consultation should get one actually is where the government have called this one wrong. But used properly, remote consultations can be used to reduce workload, improve care, as long as those patients who are genuinely and seriously ill are seen face-to-face and seen soon, not in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but today or tomorrow. And I just wish the heat was taken out of this debate and it became less polarised.